And today, what I'm doing is I am voting. Voting is compulsory in Australia, otherwise we get fined. Now, if we have a look at the, look at the signs in front of the polling station. We've got, those are all for the Labor Party, and there doesn't seem to be anything. Well, there's one for the Liberal Party. Now, the Labor Party, they are more progressive side, and the Liberal Party, they are the conservative side. Now, the Liberal Party, despite any confusion with their name in America, the Liberal Party are basically so conservative they are owned and operated by Rupert Murdoch, apparently. We've also got Greens, but that's not. They'll get a few seats in the Senate, probably. Now, these are the how to vote cards. Now, why do we have how to vote cards? Because voting can get complicated here in Australia. See, we have preferential voting, which means you vote number one, and you vote number one for the person that you really want to get in, and if that person doesn't quite have enough votes, then it goes to the next person. Your vote goes to the next person, and the next person, and the next person, until at least one of the candidates, well, only one of the candidates, because it's mathematically impossible otherwise, one of the major candidates gets 50% of the vote. And then that person wins. I explained it over here. Right there. Link. I'm here, and this is the queue. A terrible long queue. And after all that hard work numbering the boxes of Senate candidates, I'm going to have a sausage, because that's one other thing we have after voting. Well, sometimes before voting. If there's a long queue, you have the sausage before voting. Anyway, there's a sausage sizzle. Well, here is a sausage sizzle. Sometimes it's a cake stall. But this, they've gone the sausage sizzle. It's a bit warm for a sausage sizzle, but it's also a bit warm to be wearing a coat. Shouldn't have worn this coat today. It's getting a little warm. But it's going to rain later. But you won't see the rain. I'll be finished by the time the rain starts. So, Australia has a parliamentary system, which means that we've got a Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister is one of the members of the House of Representatives, the lower house, sort of like, the House of Representatives in America, except there's no president. There is a Governor-General who is not elected. Well, he's chosen by the Parliament, and then the Queen says yes. So we don't get to vote for the Governor-General. Anyway, but we do get to vote for the House of Representatives and the Senate. Here were my choices. Well, we've got the Greens, and well, we know what the Greens are. You know, they don't like pollution, and they want like education to be cheap or free or something. You know, possibly legalising marijuana, depending on, you know, who you speak to, that sort of thing. Then you've got the Australian Christians. That would be nice. Jesus had a lot of nice things to say, except they don't seem to pay attention to any of the nice things that Christians, that Jesus said. They tend to concentrate more on getting back onto the gold standard. I don't know where Jesus said anything about that, and it's mostly the stuff that Jesus didn't say that they want to implement in legislation. Then there's the Australian Labor Party. They're kind of progressive-ish sometimes, except when Murdoch puts his support behind them. And when Murdoch puts his support behind them, they suddenly get a little bit right-wing. Then there's the Parliament United Party. This party was started by a billionaire, a mining billionaire. And it has some good policies, and some batshit crazy policies. The kind of thing you would expect from somebody who decided to build the Titanic again, knowing what happened last time. Then you've got the DLP, or Democratic Labour Party. It's kind of like the Labour Party, except it's full of Catholics who didn't like one of the Labour Party's policies like 40 years ago and split off, and they never split back, well, went back, merged back into the old party. So I don't know what they stand for, apart from running for Parliament and nobody ever hearing from them when they're not. Then there's the Liberal Party, which are not really the American version of liberal. They are more neoliberal, and which means, you know, no rules for corporations, but lots of rules for everybody else. They want to take the broadband, the fibre optic broadband that Labour Party has been putting in, and replace it with taking broadband to the node and then running the rest of the signal down the existing copper cables, which are already full. And they want to filter that for porn, because they don't like pornography. I don't know why. Then there's the Sex Party. They like pornography. They also like sex and homosexuals and sex change operations. I mean, they won't make it compulsory or anything. I mean, you know, they won't force you to read pornography, but they'll force you to allow other people to have pornography, you know, within reason, you know, not the really bad stuff, you know, like, Clive Palmer having sex or something. Next one is the Family First Party. This is kind of just like the Christian, Australian Christians, except they don't say anything about the gold standard. And then there's the Rise Up Australia Party. This is another Christian party, in that they don't behave very Christian at all. They don't behave any of the ways Jesus wanted. They don't like Muslims. They don't like environmentalism. They don't like gays. They don't like abortion, but they don't say it out loud. They don't like contraception. They don't say that out loud either. They don't like any of that sort of thing. But they do like Jesus, but they don't mention that either out loud. Their slogan is, "Keep Australia Australian," which is a bit rich, coming from a man who, well, he was kind of booted out of Saudi Arabia for wanting to turn them into Pentecostal Christians, after moving out of Sri Lanka because they weren't Christian enough. Then there's the Senate, and there are 97 candidates for the Senate in Victoria this year, which is a little bit low. It's normally 150. Here's what the ballot paper looks like. Yeah, it's full of, like, very minor parties. Like, you know, the Smokers' Rights Party. You know, and Shooters Party. And the Fishermen's Party, which is, like, a shooting and fishing party. I don't know why the shooters don't like fishing, but the fishermen like shooting. I don't know why. What else? Oh, there was a confusingly named End Carbon, Tax the Climate Skeptics, or was it End Carbon, Tax Climate Skeptics Party? I didn't vote for them because I didn't know what they stood for, because they were confusingly named. Anyway. anyway, that was my day voting. I'll see you in 3 years. Well, unless you want to watch other stuff that doesn't involve me voting in the Australian federal election. I'm Dangerously Talented, and this is... I don't have a cool sign-off.